got that face cam on again. Can I get rid of that? It's alright, mate. I'll just flick it off. Is that better?
Yeah, mate, that's a bit better. Just thinking of the viewers, I don't give a rat's bum about it, but
Oh, I think you do,
might be.
brother. You're very passionate. I like it.
Oh, mate, I'll fire IRL, mate. Come on.
Alright, so we're ready to go in about now, okay?
Righto.
Alright, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year and welcome back for 2019, and it's round 7 of the SRL, season number 3, and we're here at the beautiful Le Mans circuit, the Circuit de la Sarthe in France, for this race tonight, and it's a very big, very warm welcome to have you back. Great to have you back for another year, and 20-minute qualifying session, 12 laps around this circuit tonight. And it's my great pleasure to welcome back, for another year now, my co-commentator, Rob Pearson. Rob Dog, great to have you back for another year, mate. And back into the action here tonight. It's going to be a beauty once again.
Yeah, it's looking like a good race, Trev. There, buddy. Yeah, I think it's going to be really good race tonight. I think the Ford's looking pretty good under stability, but those Corvettes are looking really good on just raw pace alone. Last night we did a practice session, Trev, and I actually topped the timesheets with a 52 something or other in the Corvette using Truss's setup. So the Corvettes are pretty quick around here, but I think the Fords might take it tonight.
And beautiful circuit, like we mentioned, they all are, aren't they? This championship has seen us crisscross the globe to a number of beautiful venues on the calendar. We were in France, technically last round before Christmas, of course, when we were at Monaco. But this track, though, 13.62 kilometres or 8.4 miles long, 38 turns here tonight. No shortcuts, no chicanes. That's right. This is the full-length version of this circuit. Of course, the home of the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the famous race every single year. And I've got to say, Rob, this track just brings back memories of Gran Turismo 4 or Gran Turismo 5 and just having a few mates around and having a few frothies and trying to do the 24-hour races and trying to get far enough ahead so you could sort of have a sleep, but I don't think we ever managed to complete the full 24 hours. But it is a great circuit, plenty of history, mate, and we're going to see plenty of good battles once again.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the circuits where you can have fantastic battles. I mean, we've watched it through LMP1 throughout the years up until probably this year, Toyota being the only LMP1 team to be competitive. But I mean, Le Mans is one of those really special circuits in history. I mean, it's hosted so many. Let's not forget that Le Mans didn't host endurance events only. It held Grand Prix events, 24 hours, of course, but still part of Grand Prix history. And it's a very, very special circuit. It's great to be here with the GTEs tonight, Trev.
Certainly is. 4 rounds to go, in fact, after the race here tonight. An enduro round, of course, so it will feature the full F1 style points system with, of course, 25 for first, 25 points for the winner tonight, down to 1 point for the lucky person finishing in 10th, as we take a quick look at the championship. And for the most part, Rob, it has been dominated by one man, and that man is Formula One Rocks, who's taken, 6 out of 8 times we've raced. He's managed to take the checkered flag.
Yeah, I mean, Formula One Rocks has actually done a really, really good job just being Mr. Consistency. There's been points in the races in the last couple of weeks that he shouldn't have probably won from, but yeah, no, he's been there in the midfield pack, when he hasn't had the car underneath him, but he's still come through and gotten the win. So he's been really, really consistent. I mean, to have 6 races out of 8. Throughout this season. That's unbelievable. I mean, we have talents in here like Cart Dude and Truss and Andy Holden and all that. really, really quick guys, but Formula Rocks has just come out on top of everybody, and it's just unbelievable the run he's had.
Big names, that's for sure, and this is a big round of this championship. Don't forget to get your comments in on the live stream tonight as we load up and get ready to go racing once again for the first time in 2019. It's a big hello to Dane Williams, aka V8 Man 51, who says, Rob, mate, chuck your microphone volume up a tad if possible. We want to hear those beautiful dulcet tones coming through loud and clear. Big hello to you, Dano, as well, mate. Hope to see you at the Grand Prix in March. A few quality tips as we get ready. Just waiting for this one to load, and we'll get ready to go racing here tonight. Like we've already mentioned, 20-minute qualifying session here tonight. The race time, 2100 hours, or pretty much on dusk. Sort of close, not quite dark, but dusk, before a 12-lap race. Mandatory pit stop as well. And like I mentioned, some of those qualifying tips as we wait for the cars to come out onto the circuit. Ambient track temperature of 29 degrees. And we're looking at medium cloud for the weather here tonight. Not sure if we're going to see any rain. And track temperature of 32 degrees Celsius. Soft tyres is probably the preferred tyre you want to be on tonight, Rob. And drivers will only get about 3 or 4 timed lap times, given the, four and a half minutes for an outlap here, so you need to get your timing right.
Yeah, timing around here is really, really critical. I mean, the outlap around here is very strange, because when you're going down the Mulsanne Straight, your tyres aren't up to temp, so you're actually not getting the speed out of the car that you can actually do on a flying lap. I think the speeds vary by about 10 kilometres an hour down a straight from a outlap to a fast lap, which is very interesting. The tyre pressures around here probably pay a very big dividend for time around here. So whoever can keep the cars with the tyre pressures up the most and the hottest will probably be the quickest down the straight street.
All about track temperature, and you can see these beautiful long back straights here at the Circuit de la Sarthe. Thank you. Big hello to you once again, Dane, and Grace joining us as well. Much love, sending love your way as we take a look at Wimpinator now, and this qualifying session getting underway here tonight. Beautiful, don't these cars? They look so good. I think we say it for every car at every circuit every single week. But we do love these cars, and we are in for an absolute rip snorter here tonight. Famous corners, we've got Indianapolis, the Porsche curves, the Ford chicanes, the Corvette curves, quite fitting corner names given the cars. We've got the Dunlop chicane, the Dunlop curve. It's a long circuit, easily the longest I think we're going to be visiting on the calendar this year. And the fastest PS4 time, 3 minutes and 48.4 in the Corvette. The fastest time you managed to see for the Ford, 3 minutes 50.5, and the fastest Ferrari lap, Rob, a 3 minute 51.8. And if there is any speed deficiency, it is a power circuit, this track, isn't it? So you're going to see differences in those times, especially with these long straights.
Well, it's interesting you say that it's a power circuit, Trev. I actually don't agree with that. I think it's more of an aerodynamic circuit. I mean, you could have maybe 480 horsepower versus 525 horsepower, but that 484 horsepower car can still probably do the same speed down Mulsanne Straight because it's just got a little bit less aero. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I mean, we know the Corvette's got about 500 horsepower, the Ford's got a little bit more than that, but the Ford has a lot more aero on it. So the Corvette's a little bit more slippery in the straight lines, but the Ford pulls back a lot of time through Indianapolis and the Porsche curves. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, but if I was going to have a bet on tonight's race, I think the Corvettes will be the fastest, but I don't think they're going to be winning tonight, Trev.
No, plenty of interesting questions tonight, that's for sure. As it looks as though HSV's in the red there already, Rob, so you might have a penalty. There is strict corner cutting tonight. Corner cutting very strict for driver runs wide, exiting the Porsche curves. They'll get their current lap, I should say, and the next one also invalidated. Drivers, those times we mentioned before, Rob, drivers won't be getting near those times as we are racing in cooler conditions, of course, much later in the day. And we're expecting the pole time here tonight in this qualifying session to be a mid to high 3-minute 51 lap. And Andy and Waffles, the two casting couch boys, have jumped out of the Ford as well into the Ferrari. And that's another interesting point. They're in the 488 GTE, making it back to 3 manufacturers for this league. So they've jumped out of the Ford into the Ferrari. Andy and Waffles from Casting Couch Racing, Rob.
I mean, it's really interesting why they've done that. I mean, they feel like they can't get the speed out of the Fords, and I know Andy and Waffles, they're all about that grip, so to see them jump into the Ferrari, which is a very grippy car, is probably a natural choice for them, but it's really, really great to see 3 manufacturers on the grid. We didn't have much variety apart from, you know, I think we lost 2 manufacturers last round. Womp and that jumped out of the Porsche into the Corvette. So it's good to see 3 manufacturers again fighting for a race win. So it's great to see Waffles and Andy in the Ferrari and see what they can do with those pesky little Italian cars, Trev.
Yes, beautiful cars. The Ferraris, they look very nice indeed under lights here. And with the lights on, as you can see. So 14 minutes remaining in this current qualifying session. So about 5.5 minutes into this one here tonight. And all zeros on the timing sheets at the moment, as you can see, for everybody at home, Rob. So nobody setting a lap, like we mentioned, 4.5 minutes. I guess that makes sense, doesn't it, for your out lap? And some of these boys are going to be on their hot lap. Strict corner cutting, Rob, and a long lap around here. So a lot of pressure on if you make mistakes. I know there's a lot of pressure on qualifying laps every single week, but especially here, because if you stuff it up, you've got another 5 minutes to go before you can have another crack at it.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. In the practice last night, I did I think a 52 something with the Corvette, and I was on for a 51 in the practice, but I just got a time penalty. So it really does play with you a little bit, and you need to be really consistent throughout the circuit. This isn't a circuit about time as much as how well you can avoid those penalties. And racing drivers, they like to try and make the circuit as short as they can. So if they go through those chicanes, they're going to be trying to straight line the chicanes as much as they can. But yeah, you've got to be really careful with those penalties because it can put you back a lot. And we can see that HSVDT 15 has got a 1 place grid penalty already for a pit lane violation. So that's going to put them back 1 place in the actual race itself. But it shouldn't worry him too much because he could probably benefit from a lot of slipstreaming. It's the qualifying aspect here is really interesting, Trev. If you qualify first, you're actually not going to get any slipstream down Mulsanne Straight.
No, it doesn't guarantee that you'll stay in first, that's for sure. Big hello to 2 of our regular viewers who are back again. Happy New Year to you two boys. Andrew, who says, "Hey boys, go Jace," and Rick is back. Rick Elliott saying, "We're back." We certainly are back. And speaking of this circuit here tonight, as we still wait for our drivers to set some times on the timing sheets here tonight. You said about corner cutting. We've mentioned a couple of times it is strict, but these drivers are paid to get that car around the track, take the shortest possible route to the line, get these things around the track as quickly as possible. And a little bit of background about this track, the talking about lap times and lap records around here. The total lap time, or the overall race lap record, Andre Lotterer in the Audi back in 2015, LMP won a 3 minute 17. I don't think we're going to be seeing times anywhere near that tonight, but still that is very quick indeed. As we look at Waffles now, up into 6th gear. Look at that, up to 260 kilometres an hour. And hard on the brakes. This track's going to be hard on the brakes, the tyres, the drivers. And like you said, Rob, concentration is going to be the key. Fernando Alonso, of course, won this race, didn't he, in his first outing back in June last year. His first outing at Le Mans, the famous 24-hour race, looking to get that triple crown. Oh, someone's off in the back there. I didn't see who that was behind the Ferrari of Waffles. As here comes Waffles now into the final couple of corners, coming onto the main straight through the Ford chicanes. And you can go all the way around this lap there, Rob, and if you get that little dinky part wrong at the end, it can cost you dearly. But Waffles, finally we have a time on the board, and it's a 3 minute 57.5. Waffles setting the high watermark early. Can Truss beat it, Rob?
Yeah, certainly Truss can beat it. He was only about So like a hundredth off my time from last night's practice. So Truss knows what he's doing. His car setup's really great for qualifying. A little bit funny for the race conditions, but yeah, Truss is doing a great job. And Truss said give him a shout out for his setup from last night. So shout out to Truss for giving us a great shout out and setup. And Formula Rocks goes to the top of 3:53.090. That's a pretty good time in the Ford there, Trev.
Absolutely magnificent. This man, we mentioned him at the start of our telecast tonight. Telecast live stream, of course, we're not on TV. 3 minutes 53 flat. That is going to take some beating. We did say we were expecting pole to be a mid to high 3 minute 51, but that's all you can do. You've got to get the times on the board. And V8 Man, who was kind enough to leave us a comment earlier on in the live stream with a 3:55.9, just in the 3 minute 55s. Ahead of Waffles, who we mentioned just a moment ago, and HSV with that grid penalty currently in P4. And John Dog, I think that is, as Mighty Murph now with a 3 minute 56.129 goes up to P3, so the best of the Kiwis. And it's Jono and V8 Man. I tell you what, the Shake and Bake boys currently 1 and 2. It's good to see Dane back up there, Rob.
Yeah, it's good to see Dano up there. I mean, he's a really good racer, and he hasn't probably had the results that he deserves, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens at the top of the timesheets there, Trev, because the people with the fastest times in qualifying are running a qualifying setup, and the people with the sort of the average times, they're probably going to be the ones to look out for in the race. The people with the fastest times, the cars are really, really twitchy, and I drove Truss's setup last night. And I can tell you that was a very interesting experience. Really quick, but really hard to control. So the people with a stable setup, they're probably the ones that watch around here, especially with how the tyre wear is around here. People with stable setup are probably going to look after their tyres a lot better, especially going around the Porsche curves, Trev. The Porsche curves can really destroy a pair of tyres pretty instantaneously within 3 laps. You'd probably get a half wear out of them within 3 laps. So people with a stable setup probably are the ones to look out for, but never discount anybody with a pointy setup like Fallen Rocks or a Truss at the moment, because they are on fire, especially Fallen Rocks. I mean, to take 6 wins out of 8 races, that's a monumental effort that nobody can really replicate in this league so far.
Well, 7 drivers, 7 out of 16 have set times, so we've still got 9 drivers yet to get on the timing sheets. As we tick down to 8 minutes remaining, V8 Man 51 on your screen, and it's a very, very special occasion, Rob, because we can announce live and exclusive here on the Kid Buyers channel that with thanks to everybody out there, the beautiful support from you good people out there watching in live streaming YouTube land, Project Cars land, that we have just ticked over to our 800th subscriber, Rob. 200 off where we need to be before we can start getting some serious coin from this. And don't forget about those watch hours as well, but that's another story. But 800 subscribers, big thanks for everyone who supported us over the journey. I think we've been doing this for about 12 months, a bit under 12 months now, Rob. So 800 subscribers, not a bad effort considering we started 11 months ago on this journey, and I had, I think, about 64. So we're doing quite well.
Yeah, doing a great job there, Trev, and I think the quality of your streams have just gone up season by season. I mean, the commentary really helps as well, but the racing on track is so exciting. I haven't seen this type of sprint racing that's been this exciting for a very long time. You usually get one person that's dominating, i.e., I mean, Formula Rocks is dominating at the moment, but the battles for the lead, I mean, Formula Rocks has been pretty lucky with a few races. I mean, he hasn't had it all of his own way. It's just been a few incidents, etc., that's given him some wins. So probably the scoreboard doesn't reflect the way that the season has gone at the moment. But Fallen Rocks has been pretty fortunate with how some races have gone. But we thank every subscriber that we've gotten, and every subscriber means that maybe one day we could probably retire pretty early on, Trev, and make some dosh from this. But until then, we just enjoy doing this and bringing good racing, good solid racing, hard racing to you folks, and hopefully entertaining you in your lounge rooms or your bedrooms, wherever you're watching this, maybe the toilet, I don't know, but as long as you're entertained, that's all we care about, Trev.
Ah, yes, we love it, and we also love your comments. And Connor Elliott, Happy New Year to you, big hello to you for the first time in 2019. 800, that's right, 800 subscribers. We're getting calls for your mic volume to be upped a couple of notches, Rob. We're still not hearing those beautiful dulcet tones. As, wow, Andy there on the timing sheets. Everyone's still a fair way off Formula One Rocks, but he puts in a 3-minute 54 lap. And there's a bit of a logjam there from 3rd to 6th. Look at that, everybody in the 355s. 355.3 for Bubbles in P3. Same for HSV, who's got that grid penalty, of course. Then a 55.69 right down to Truss there, who's in P9. He won't be happy with that. 5 minutes remaining now, just on dusk here at the beautiful Circuit de la Sarthe. So looks like Mickey and Womp currently in the pit lane, still yet to set a time in this one. So from 12, 13, 14, so about 5 drivers yet to set a time. And Truss, pressure on him, currently in P9. He'll be looking to do better than that, as Alex has been good enough to join us. Alex Adams, hope to see you too at the Grand Prix in a couple of months' time. Great to have your company with us once again. Like we said, we always say, get your comments in. If you want to get involved, all the W's.supremeracingleague.com. We absolutely love it. We've still got a bit of room left in Tier 2, Rob, but we are filling up fast. And we absolutely love this series. And so does everybody else. But 4.5 minutes to go. The pressure's on this man, Truss.
Yeah, the pressure's on him, but not so much as you think. I mean, he's still got, he's on this lap. The next lap he's still going to have, so even though he's a little bit down in the timesheets than he was last night, he's still going to have another lap to have a go at it. And I think a lot of people around here will probably have another lap in hand. I mean, you can still cross that finish line with a second to go. As long as you finish that, cross that finish line with a second to go, you still get another lap out of it. So it's not all over until the fat lady sings, and trust me, I haven't been singing for a long time, so it's not over yet, Trev.
Trust me, I see what you did there, and oh my goodness, we were talking about the quality of the live streams has improved, Rob, but we've forgot about our customary intro song. Let's get a little taste of our intro song here. Better late than never, as they say. There we go. How good is that? And we better just leave it there in case we get done for copyright. But like we said, great to have everybody's company from Melbourne to Mozambique. It is fantastic to be here with you, and I had to turn that fan off in the background there, Rob. We spoke about it off air. You could hear a fan in the background. It's very warm here in my commentary box, at least. It's hotter than Ethiopia here tonight, and I haven't even been to Ethiopia. But Connor, great to have your company. Alex, like we mentioned as well, just under 3 minutes to go in this qualifying session, and Smokey currently in P9. He's looking good there, also in the 355s. But Formula One Rocks, look at that, Rob. A second clear, exactly, between Car Dude and Formula One Rocks. 352.2 compared to a 353.2.
Well, I don't want to talk myself out too much, Trev, but I did beat that time. It was just a little bit invalidated last night, but that's a fantastic time for Formula One Rocks, especially with a time-limited session and within the practice session on Thursday nights. A lot of people, usually, sorry, not Thursday nights, that's a lie there, Trev. Wednesday nights, you get about an hour to put your best time in, and to do that within a confined space like 20 minutes, that's impressive. So it's interesting to think about that, because a lot of drivers, they prefer a lot of track time before they put in a fast time. So that just shows the quality we're talking about here between Formula One Rocks and Can't Do. Formula One Rocks is about a second away from Can't Do, but Can't Do is about 8/10 away from the next person, and that'd be Jason Wilkinson. But to put that time in pretty early on in a very short qualifying session, that's really, really impressive, and props to those two boys for doing that sort of time early on.
So Can't Do there on your screen, down the back straight there before we head to Waffles. So Truss, look at that. We mentioned that the pressure was on him to do a quick time, and he's just 1/10 off Formula One Rocks. Look at that, 352.2 for Formula One Rocks and a 352.4 for Truss. So 38 turns, 13 kilometres, Rob. And geez, how would you feel? 1/10 of a second off Formula One Rocks in pole position. And Connor saying, thank goodness no one is driving a Merc. Mercedes-Benz and Australians don't mix well on this circuit. I'm guessing he's referring to Mark Webber and his attempt in the Mercedes back in the late 90s. I think where he ended up in the trees. I think Robbie was flying through the air at a couple of occasions here at Le Mans. So not happy memories for Mark Webber, that's for sure, at this circuit. But the time is ticking down. Less than a minute to go now, Rob. And boy, you'd have to be getting around to start your final run here. Otherwise, you might miss out. And we've still got 3 drivers yet to set a time tonight.
Yeah, 3 drivers still set a time, but that's probably a really good strategy, to be honest, Trev. I mean, they're going to get some slipstreaming, and they're probably using this session as a bit of a test session to see what the race setup is like. I mean, it's great to be the fastest around the circuit, but it doesn't mean you're going to get a race win. I mean, the people with a really stable setup, the car that's going to look after the tyres, the car that's going to look after the fuel, are the ones you're going to look at, probably looking at to win the race. I mean, I don't want to get too technical here, but people with probably a softer setup, especially on the rear end, to protect those tyres and get a little bit more rear end movement out of the car. They're probably the people you want to look at. And when we were just watching Waffles early on in the race, you could see through the Porsche curves his Ferrari was twitching around a little bit, which is really interesting. You don't really want that because that's going to destroy your tyre life. And I mean. There might be a few pit stops tonight for tyres and not just a stop and go.
So mandatory pit stops, like we mentioned, but time has ticked down in this session. So anybody who is currently still on a hot lap or completing a hot lap around this circuit will have a chance to finish that hot lap, of course, in case they invalidate that lap or get done for some corner cutting action. And Fubbles on the ragged edge for his final run. And where's he on the timing sheets? Currently in P8 ahead of HSV with that grid penalty, which will slot him down the order. And Fubbles now through the right-hander. And Formula One Rock's going even quicker at the top there as we finish this qualifying session with a 3 minutes 51. So we got our 3 minute 51 time in the end, Rob. We said we were looking at 3 minute 51. And spot on in the qualifying notes because we've got our 3 minute 51 time. As we're going to ride on board now, still with Fubbles here as he finishes his final hot lap. And I've got to ask you, Rob, we do this each and every week. We love our jokes. Wherever we are in the world, we like to just offend the locals. What does a frog in Paris eat? French flies. Oh boy, that's dreadful. I think we might just put those away for tonight because that's absolutely awful. But more importantly, let's stick to the on-track action. And forget about the dad jokes for just a moment as we take a look at Fubbles and through the final forward chicanes onto the main straight. He gets a good exit. Oh, geez, he might have been close to getting a corner-cutting warning there. I think all 4 tyres and wheels weren't completely on the road, but I think he managed to just creep up in the final timing sheets. He, like we said, he was sitting P10, I think, but I didn't quite see where he ended up. But anyway, there we are, the final qualifying results on your screen now. And that is the end of this 20-minute qualifying session here at the Circuit de la Sarthe. And it's Formula One Rocks with a blistering 3 minute 51.8 to see him take pole position. So a new year, but it's business as usual for Jono in season number 3. I was about to say season 2019, but it's the same season, Trev. What are you talking about? Then ahead of Car2, just 2 tenths behind him. So Formula One Rock's the only man in the 3 minute 51s. Car2 in P2. Truss it was in P3. Fubbles in P4. Our man Jace in P5. Ahead of Andy. Mighty Murph in 7th. HSV in 8th. Smokey and Waffles were rounding out your top 10. HSV starting P9, actually, I beg your pardon. So here we are, the start of this race here tonight, coming up very shortly. 12 laps around this circuit, and we are in for an absolute cracker. We've got most of the quick guys, those guys at the sharp end, Rob, up the front. F1 Rocks, Car2 Trust, the 3 amigos up there. And no doubt they're going to give us an absolute cracker here tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a cracking race. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, Formula Rock's probably the fastest at the moment. Well, he certainly is the fastest due to the qualifying results. But yeah, as I said, probably the people with this more stable setup, more of a setup that's going to look after the tyres, are going to be the ones to watch out for here. And we know how good Truss is. I mean, Truss gets a really good launch of the start-finish line all the time. I mean, I haven't seen him really get a bad start ever. So Truss is probably the one to look out for here, but yeah, it's gonna be a fun race to watch and a fun race to commentate, Trev.
It certainly will be. Keep an eye out every race. Lap 1, there could be some carnage. Of course, those first few corners tighten up into the first chicane. Then if they get through there, they're doing pretty well. 16 drivers on the grid tonight starting this one. And then, who knows, with those long straights and guys fighting over the slipstream, we could see some action and some argy-bargy down there as well. And those speeds of almost 300 kilometres an hour with the slipstream. Still hard to pass despite the slipstream on this circuit. And we'll be looking for some moves into the heavy braking zones. But we are ready to go racing back for another year. And here we go again to do it all over again. It's round number 7, 12 laps here at Le Mans as we get ready for lights out. The engines roar. And here we go, lights out, away we go. Good start from Car Dude. Slight contact with Formula One Rocks on the start, but Formula One Rocks holds P1. Car Dude is right beside him though. Neither driver are giving an inch as Fubbles jumps Truss into P3 and Car Dude is into the lead. Now, can they all get through here cleanly? It's Car Dude, Formula One Rocks, a couple off at the back, but now Formula One Rocks is coming back on the inside through the Dunlop curves on lap 1. It's Formula One Rocks taking back the lead from Car Dude off the start line, and HSV down the back there. He must have had some contact. I think he was our spinner in that first corner. He's down to 15. He had a grid penalty as well, but lap 1 out of 12 here at the Circuit de la Sarthe, the famous Le Mans, down the back straight for the first time. It's Formula One Rocks, followed by Car Dude, then Truss, then Fubbles, then Jace. Right.
Yeah, it's a good start. I think Formula Rocks probably made a mistake there in passing Car Dude. He could have gotten the slipstream down Mulsanne straight. Car Dude's actually probably got the advantage here. He's gone past Formula Rocks. Probably a really good move from him. Just letting Formula Rocks get past him up in the chicane there, but you can see there Formula Rocks giving Car Dude a little bit of a tap. But those Corvettes are wickedly quick in a straight line. I think I was pulling about 290 last night in the practice session down Mulsanne straight without any slipstream, so they're wickedly quick and really impressive. But Fallen Rocks is gone down to third there, Trev, so that's really interesting. And Fubbles was really impressive during the practice session last night, putting in some really good lap times and being pretty consistent on the pad, doing the L2, R2 action with the throttle and braking there. But this is probably the circuit that's going to suit him the most, being on the pad. Not too twisty, not too difficult, so he's going to be probably one of the people to watch tonight. Truss already got a little warning there against his name, same with Fubbles. Probably take a little bit too much of advantage on the circuit there, but Car Dude first, back from Truss, who's only at 200ths behind him. Fallen Rocks 400ths behind him. Fubbles 9,000ths behind him, and we've got Jason in 5th. Smokey's gone past Jason. V8 man Waffles, John Dog, who's a little bit lonely in that mid-pack there. HSV, who is in 10th, with 10 seconds between him and the leader. Nemo, 13 seconds between him and the leader. Mighty Mirth in 12th. Wimpinator in 13th. Andy Holden in 14th. He did some pretty solid showing last night in the practice session, but probably just didn't get it together in the qualifying session there. Mickey SR 33 and 15th, and Wampin 16. As we've covered in the last race, Mickey SR and Wamp are actually betrayed the Porsche there, gone for the Corvette, just looking for a little bit more speed. But Car Dude is leading this race, and that Corvette is looking super slippery in a straight line, True.
Well, there was just 7/10 of a second. Still on lap 1 out of 12. 7/10 of a second separated the top 4 in this race. And then from 5th to 8th, there was another 4 or 5 guys battling it out. But it is Car Dude first. Formula One Rocks hot on his heels in P2. Then it's Fubbles a further 1.5 seconds down the road. And we've lost Truss somewhere there as well. He's down in P9. He's 9 seconds off the lead now, so there must have been some contact which we didn't catch on the stream. But 1, 2, 3, separated by less than 2 seconds. There is Truss, our man, down in P9. Looks to have a little bit of damage there as well, so hopefully that doesn't affect him too much. Those boys will just a bit of a repair there for the Corvette boys when he comes into the pits possibly. And he is coming into the pits, Rob, very early indeed.
Yeah, it's probably a smart move when you get a little bit of damage in the first laps of Le Mans. You really want to probably sort that car out as quickly as possible. We know he's in the Corvette, so it's going to be pretty straight, quick up down the straight line speed there. But you know, he's probably going to find himself in some clear air, so that might work out pretty good for Truss there. But Car Dude, I've been noticing in these straight line speed traps that he is the quickest out of here in Formula 1 Rocks there. Formula Rocks is probably going to find it hard to get past him there, Trevor, going through the Porsche curves in Indianapolis, because that Ford really suffers from front downforce loss when you're following a car from in front. The Ford just seems to lose a lot of that downforce that it's been known to really put down onto the ground, so it's losing grip. It'll probably end up understeering a lot, so Formula Rocks is going to be having to change his driving style a lot there just to keep up with Kart Dude. But Kart Dude is doing a good showing down the straight line speed. That Corvette is unbeatable, and just into the corners. I think the Ford's going to struggle to keep up with him, but yeah. Kart Dude's looking pretty good. Fallen Rocks is still looking pretty good. We know how good he is. He's very, very, very insanely quick. And Smokey popped himself up into fourth there and Bubbles up into third. So it's looking like a pretty good race at the moment there, Trev.
Yes, the dirty air not where you want to be, but we saw that. We've always said that the Corvettes are very, very slippery in a straight line, and you could visually see, couldn't you, Kart Dude pulling away from Formula 1 Rocks on the back straight before Formula 1 Rocks in that Ford, getting awfully close to him in the corners. As we take a look at V8 Man, currently in P6 for him. Well, he's 3 seconds off Waffles in P5 and a couple of seconds ahead of John Dog in P7. So the field, for the most part, spreading out at the moment, apart from that lead battle, of course, which is between Kart Dude and Formula 1 Rocks. So business as usual in the second half of this season and 2019 for the new year. And Jason Wilkinson now, he was up the order, but he's currently down in P12 as we've got Truss, who we mentioned in the pits, and Nemo as well, electing to make an early pit stop in this race. It's going to be interesting to see which way they decide to go. Do they put the hard tyres on, Rob? Because they won't really be awfully friendly in the cooler conditions here tonight.
Yeah, the hard tyres look like they're struggling a bit going down Mulsanne Straight. The soft tyre seems to hold its temperature a little bit more than the hard tyre going down to Mulsanne Straight, which sets it up fantastically for Indianapolis and the Porsche curves and the Ford chicanes. But those soft tyres go off really, really quick. I think I did about 6 laps on the soft tyre last night, and they just died. They were pretty much useless. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with the circuit if it rubbers up enough for those soft tyres to keep working when they're really severely worn. But I think Kart Dude is probably on the soft tyres tonight. He was talking to me last night about strategy, and he said he's probably going to go softs because that's probably the way to go for grip. And that Corvette isn't fantastic through the Porsche curves if you've got the wrong setup. And Kart Dude's got his setup mainly for straight line speed, so I think he's going to be using every bit of life out of that Corvette's tyres as he can. But we don't know anything about Formula 1 Rocks at the moment. Formula 1 Rocks is a bit of a unknown when it comes to setup. He doesn't like to share too many details about his setup, but I think probably Formula 1 Rocks probably is on those hard tyres, probably looking for the long game here, whereas Kart Dude is looking for the short-term game and see where he comes out when the race is finished and done with. But gee, these two really are looking like a feisty battle at the end of the race, Trev.
So just, a couple of battles, very interesting. We might just stick with this one for a little bit. Lap 3 then out of 12 as the sun sets here at Le Mans. Kart Dude a 3-minute 54 flat on that last lap. Formula 1 Rocks a couple of tenths quicker then, and that gap is closing. We've just had 3 different winners this season, which sounds boring, but what an exciting season we've had, as James Barton says. Formula 1 Rocks for the win. And that's, I'm not a betting man, but that's not a bad bet, brother, let me tell you. And, here we go, along the back straight, but this is where the Corvette of Kart Dude pulls away, and you can see again, but can Formula 1 Rocks hold that slipstream and have a go into the chicane? That will be the interesting question as we see them come down that back straight. Like we mentioned, just the three different winners. Can't Dude has one win, 3 second places though, but he has been consistent. Currently sitting P2 in this championship on the drivers' table. Still 39 or so points behind him, but look at this battle now. There's some other close battles on track, but he's going to have a go here. Look at the slipstream. The slipstream, very real, Rob.
Yeah, very real, very beneficial, and you can see there, Formula Rocks has gotten into clear air because Cardude's pulled off to the side. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the braking zone. That Corvette is actually okay in the braking zone, so Formula Rocks will have to find the way, the long way around him. Sort of like Eminem saying, two trailer park goes around, girls go around outside, but it's going to be really hard for Formula Rocks to get past Cardude just by slipstreaming him. It's one story to be fast in a straight line, but it's another story to get close enough to the car to attack him in the corners, and the corners around here are pretty quick. They're really fast corners, so that Ford's going to be suffering through the corners due to aero loss. But Cardude's done a good job being really defensive. He's racing his own race. He's managing the gap to a Formula Rocks, but Formula Rocks has to pull some miracles out of his backside here to get past Cardude there, Trev.
He's a wily old fox, Jono. Formula One Rocks. He'll just bide his time, and as the sun sets on this race, he will look to make a move. No doubt about that. And well, I reckon we might have lost. We might have lost Truss, I reckon, there, Rob. I can't see him on the timing screens. Connor wants to know, did Truss retire? There's a pretty fair chance he did, because I cannot see him anywhere on the timing screens. He did make that early pit stop, like we mentioned, on the opening lap of this race, but he hasn't been heard of since. And Nemo getting a little bit spicy on the comments. Likes to get a little bit salty every now and then. And also James wanting to know, has anyone heard how Tier 2 is going? We usually get some results through there, so we will try and do that throughout the course of this evening and get those results from Tier 2 through you later on tonight. But lap 3 then, just recapping, Cardude from Formula One Rocks. You can see the gap on your screen, and there's not many other close battles currently on track at the moment. And as soon as I say that, it looks like Jason Wilkinson is making a liar out of me, because Mighty Murph, I think he's got Mighty Murph for company, so it's Australia versus New Zealand across the ditch. And these two boys will be getting together for a frothy or two at the Grand Prix. And he's hot on his heels, isn't he? This battle not even for the points. Endurance round, Rob. So Formula One style point system here tonight. But these two, 11th and 12th, not where Jace wants to be.
Not where Jace wants to be, and he was around the top end last night in practice session. His car was a little bit slower, but it was more set up towards a more of a stable setup. So he's trying to look for that long game approach here, but at the moment he's not finding any time. We've got a Ferrari there pulling off to the side. I think that's Andy Holden. Yes, it is Andy Holden pulling off the side there, so it'll be interesting to see what happened to him. But another interesting battle that's happening here is Waffles and Bits versus V8 Man. V8 Man and Waffle and Bits. Not much time between him and he and Waffles, and also Smokey battling with V8 Man. So this is looking like a humdinger for the 4th, 5th and 6th position. So we'll see how this plays out. Be keeping an eye on that one for the majority of this race. But yeah, Jason must be a little bit disappointed to where he is at the moment. And he's also got that Corvette on his backside. So he's going to be thinking about, how can I get out of these corners as quick as I can, getting away from that Corvette, because that Corvette is lethal. And I mean lethal down the straight. So Jason's going to be having a lot to deal with here if Mighty Murph has just spun. So a little bit of a commentator's curse there, Trev. But yeah, that's given Jason a little bit of breathing room there.
Well, you give them a rap and they'll let you down every time. It's the famous saying, isn't it? Mighty Murph was hot on his heels, wasn't he, like we said? He was getting very close to Jason, but now Jason has gone up to P9 and into the points. Make that P8 now for good measure. As we take a quick look at HSV, there is a bit of a battle though developing. Look at that, John Dog in 4th, HSV 5th, Waffle 6th. A little bit further down the road to V8 Man. But there's plenty of battles. It's not just that lead battle or that lead championship battle that we always see, is it, Rob? We've got Waffles currently in P3 in the championship. Waffles and Jace currently sitting on 72 points apiece. Waffles has won a Grand Prix where Jace, his best finish was second, of course. I think it was in Monaco from memory earlier on this season at the last round of this championship. That battle, look at that, 2/10 out front as we ride on board now with we stay with this battle of HSV currently in P5, hot on the heels of John Dog. Third, fourth and fifth all have penalties of some kind or another. So that'll be interesting to see how that ends up in the wash-up. And after this race is finished in the final standings here tonight. But look at this, inside, that's right, inside. We get all the camera angles here, Rob. Live and exclusive on the Kid Buyers channel. And we're looking at HSV currently trying to chase down John Dog, who's done pretty well, P4 for him. A lap of 4 minutes and 1 second last night. It is last time around. So HSV a little bit quicker on that last lap. And it is a long lap around here, that's for sure. But where is he going to make a move? He's a little bit too far behind to have a crack here. But I reckon he's going to he's closing in ever so slightly, Rob.
Yeah, he is closing in a little bit by little bit each lap. But I can see from the onboards there, HSV isn't actually using a lot of the circuit there. I mean, he's at the end of the Mulsanne straight. He's not going out to the left, where a lot of people usually brake and get that really nice exit and run into the corner and a really nice exit out of the corner. So HSV could probably be probably setting a little bit quick lap times and catching up to John Dog there if he was using a little bit more of the circuit. But HSV has his own game plan in mind, and that's great. But yeah, he is closing in little bit by little bit from to John Dog, and we go to the lead battle here. And oh my God, they're side by side going to the first corner at Le Mans. This is going to be interesting here, Trev.
1,000ths, in fact, nothing between these two. We wondered when Jono would make his move, and he's done that. Look at that. Into the Dunlop corners, the Dunlop bridge now. Where is Cartoon going to have another crack at him? Don't forget that back straight and the slipstreaming effect here as well. Can really help you in this track and on this circuit. But well, we just talk about timing. That's what it's all about in life, isn't it? Perfect timing there, Rob. We flash back to the lead battle, which has been close right through the early part of this race. Lap 5 out of 12. One more lap, and you know what we can say, Rob. But let's have a look at this. Formula One Rock's now leading. He's taken the lead here on lap 5. Will he keep it, though, as Cart Dude alongside him gets a little bit of slipstream side by side. Look at that, he's through again. And is Jono going to have another crack at him into the chicanes? Let's just wait and see. Very good under braking is that Ford, but the Corvette manages to get it done in a straight line. Oh, I tell you what, why have I got a feeling this is going to end in tears, Rob?
I mean, it usually ends in tears, especially when these two are together. There's been a couple little incidents that Cart Dudes talked about throughout the season, especially at Monaco. But we don't want to get into that right now. We're just going to enjoy the battle. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens towards the end of the race if these two are together, because that Corvette is so lethal down a straight line. But as you can see, Jono getting the move done just across the line into the first corner at Le Mans. But will that be enough at the finish? If he can pull that move off maybe 3 or 4 corners before, he will get the win. But Cart Dude is looking really, really solid during this race, Trev.
He certainly is. Who is going to be the champion of Le Mans? I hear you ask. Almost at half race distance, and there is nothing between these two. They're P1 and P2 in the championship, and they're P1 and P2 here tonight. And boy, all down the inside. No, Formula One Rocks not getting through there. Cart Dude chopping him off. All quite legal and quite fair, but there is a little bit of history between these two, and they're so evenly matched. More often than not, they're going to find themselves on the same bit of racetrack throughout many times for the season. And Formula One Rocks, it's a long lap around here. Like we said, he's mature. He's the complete package in many ways when it comes to driving these machines, and he will bide his time. He will wait for the right moment to strike. As Connor says, the vet has all the advantages here. As wow, everyone's up and about in those comments. Keep sending your comments in. Now they're side by side again, Rob.
Yeah, he's gone wide there, and you can see Formula Rock's having a little bit of a tap on the right-hand side there. So nothing much in it, but Cartoon made a little mistake. You can see that forward side by side, but the Corvette has the straight line speed advantage. But going into the Porsche curves, I think the Ford will have it here. He's just tucked in behind the rear wing there, and he just couldn't get that move done on a straight line, which is expected because the Ford isn't the quickest in a straight line. But gee, this is looking like a really humdinger of a battle here, Trev.
Oh yes, don't go anywhere. Do not adjust your sets. There is nothing between them. Hello to you too, Stephen at McDonald. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Smokey, Connor, Nemo up and about, salty as ever in those comments. No, only joking. We're all just having fun here tonight, but there's no joking about this battle as we go through the final couple of corners. The famous Ford chicanes, the Porsche curves, the Corvette curves, the Ford curves. 13.626 kilometres of this circuit. Lap 6 now, Rob. Half the race gone, half still to go, and there's still nothing between these two. Just 4/10 between them on that final time around between their lap time. 3/10 of a second. What other battles are happening? HSV and John Dog, I should say. Just 2 seconds between them as we go down the order. Jace has made his way up to 6th. A few seconds ahead of Mighty Murph. Somebody off and facing the wrong way in the background. And it's Womp.
That's Womp.
Who's, wow, that's very dangerous there. It's a bit of a blind corner, isn't it? You don't want to be coming onto the circuit, especially given that it's a little bit dark as well. So Womp has got himself into all sorts of trouble. Hopefully he hasn't damaged his camera there, and he's still able to take some stunning pictures here. We rely on Womp for those beautiful images that you see on the SRL website, on the SRL group chat. But he is not looking good. But it is a race of attrition. We see it in the 24 hours around here. You've got to concentrate. You've got to have the speed as well. And Womp, where is he? Currently in P13. And I reckon he'll be struggling to get into the points from there. And he's a long way back, isn't he? 2.5 minutes, a bit over 2 minutes from the leader. And speaking of the leader, and well, Jason as well. Look at that. Could he get a podium? Just 30 seconds off P3, and Fubbles it is in P3 at the moment. Jace all on his own, Rob. Still plenty of work to do here tonight, but look at that lead battle. It's just 1/10 of a second, Rob.
Yeah, it's just 1/10 of a second, and it's looking really interesting. They're going down to Mulsanne Straight. The last little bit through the last chicane. Formula Rocks is tucking in between, behind the the wing of Can't-Do there. Sorry, I've had a couple of beverages tonight. Formula Rocks is tucking in between him and himself between Can't-Do and that, and Formula Rocks is looking pretty racy at this point. And I think Can't-Do has definitely gone for the soft tyre strategy, so his car might be a little bit more suffering through the longer, prolonged corners like the Porsche curves. Not getting as much grip, but Formula Rocks is tacked right up behind the Corvette there of Can't-Do, so he's getting the maximum benefit of the slipstream, and you can see them side by side coming down here into the run to Indianapolis. Interesting little straight here. It's not really straight, got a couple of kinks, but it's not straight. Car's producing a whole bunch of downforce. You can see coming into Indianapolis down to 5th gear, down, just banging the box down all the way down. Arthur, get through that kink, trying to get the best entry and exit you can, and a 3 here, probably just up into 3rd. Looking very interesting. Formula Rocks having a look. Can't-Do having the force to go wide. Formula Rocks putting his nose in between Can't-Do in the corner there. You need to get to that apex to be the fastest around there. But Formula Rocks is having a little look down the straight. That's pretty interesting. But I think the Corvette with that maximum straight line speed there is going to have it down here, Trev.
Well, this is interesting. Was it Ayrton Senna who said, if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver? Very true words. Formula 1 Rocks, he's had a couple of goes at him through that right-hander, but like you said, the straight line speed of the Corvette has won out on a couple of occasions. But how good is this? Everybody's up and about in the comments. Stephen McDonald says, Fubbles, your brother, your man in P3. Currently on the controller, doing very nicely indeed. Connor as well saying F1's going to have to work. F1 Rocks is going to have to work for the win. Nemo backing Jono in. Nemo wants to know if Jason's pitted. I've got absolutely no idea. And then Alex Adams saying they're so far up each other's... Oh, we better not say that either, Rob. Yeah, settle down, Alex. I tell you what, but they are up at each other's gingers. We better just... gee, that didn't quite come out as well as I would have liked it, but you'd think I'd had a bevy or two as well here on a Thursday night. But lap 7 out of 12, still nothing between them. If I had $1 for every time I've said side by side tonight, I'd be a very rich man. I wouldn't need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, that's for sure, Rob. But this battle is intense, and it's not letting up.
I mean, I think it's been a while since we've done a Mark Scaife quote. It's probably been the last time we've done it. It's probably the Christmas live stream. So let me just say, this is as wild as it gets, Trev. And these two are going hammer tongs at it, and that Ford supremely great around the corners, but the Corvette is supremely great down the straight. So it's going to be it's almost a battle that cancels each other out in a lot of ways. But if Formula Rocks could probably get past Car Dude, the Ford probably has the best overall lap time speed than the Corvette does at this point. But you have to get past Car Dude, and Car Dude's not letting it go in any any hurry at this point.
Okay, I think it was that. I think you might have been referring to that Chinese table tennis player there, Rob. I think when you said that, but this is terrific. 18 people watching the live stream. We're beaming into lounge rooms, offices, rooms, toilets, wherever you're watching, right around the world. We've even got people tuning in from Zimbabwe as well. If you believe that, you'll believe anything. But my goodness, isn't Car Dude, he's just putting that Corvette in all the right places here, as he just prevents Formula One Rocks from taking the lead in this race. And we've got a little bit of traffic up there just to add a little bit more spice into this battle, if we haven't already, depending on where they catch that traffic, Rob. It might not have too much of an effect on the proceedings, but the back markers can always play a role. We've seen it happen in the past. Who could forget Sebastian Vettel? Blue flag, blue flag. Come on, blue flag. But Formula One Rocks, he's pretty crafty, like we keep saying. He will bide his time here tonight, and you don't get 6 wins for the season, 6 out of 8 attempts, just by not being handy behind the wheel and not being clever and crafty. The wily old fox. We mentioned he doesn't give away his setup details. He gives very little away. Hey, Jono, tell us your setup. Oh, nah, not really. That's about all you get from him, Rob. Not much, but he does his talking on the track.
Yeah, no, mate, I won't give away my setup here, but I have a really gruff voice, and I'm a little bit scary to talk to because I don't answer much. But this could be somewhat beneficial, and actually the late traffic is actually getting out of the way there. But that could have been pretty beneficial for Car Dude down the straight there, getting the slipstream from the back marker there. Might have actually given him a little bit of breathing space between he and Formula One Rocks, but Formula One Rocks is still putting in a great performance. That Ford is looking as smooth as ever around here. I mean, it's not the quickest set of straights, but around the corners is the car you want to have, and it's a tricky circuit, this one, because there's not so many corners, and there's only so many straights you can get advantage on. So we've always heard, I think the 2015 Le Mans 24 Hour, Andre Lotterer did a live on Facebook. Wow, that's pretty sad to remember that. He was talking about it's a fine balance between grip and straight line speed, and that's what we're seeing here tonight. We've got the straight line speed of the Corvette and the grip of the Ford, and you can see Car Dude is actually struggling to get around the Ford chicanes there, just going a little bit wide, not hitting the apex, and Formula Rocks is just on the apex all the time, but he's having a look into the first corner here, Trev.
I reckon this will be the shot. I reckon this is going to be this should be, Womp, if you're listening, the thumbnail for tonight's live stream. These two, a little bit of contact there. We don't want this to end in tears. It sent Car Dude off, but Formula One Rocks just getting the elbows out. And lap 8 out of 12 now, so strategy could play a key role as well. When are these two going to pit? Will they come in together? Will they do separate strategies? Last time around, 3 minutes 54, so they've settled into blistering pace. It has to be said here tonight. Good race pace. We were looking at about 3 minute 55s, 57s, but they are absolutely killing that. And well, you lose about 28 seconds pit transit time here, Rob. And you've just got to pay attention to how long the drivers are stopped in the pits. 4 to 5 seconds means no tyre change, while 7 to 9 seconds mean front tyres, 16 means all 4. And indeed, here comes John Dog, 2010. How long is he going to be in the pits for in the Ford? Could be a tyre change job. Will he go onto the hards? Is he going to stay on soft tyres? And John Dog doing quite well, currently in the pits like we mentioned. He's in P5 tonight. And, well, you cannot fit a bit of paper between Cartoon and Formula One Rocks out front. 0.0.0.082. And Formula One Rocks says, I'm going to have a little bit of a go here. He fancies himself around the outside, round the outside. And Cartoon wide.
Yeah, Cartoon right wide. I could see in there at braking zone. I was going to say, Trev, that the Cartoon's a little bit late in the braking there. It just put him through the chicane, and Cartoon's in the right position, right thing there, and giving the position away. But Cartoon's got the straight line speed here, and don't discount our mate from Tasmania. A bit of a karting proficionado. And never discount Cartoon, but never discount Formula One Rocks either. But Cartoon's dropped about a second behind Formula One Rocks there. So Formula One Rocks has a bit of a breathing, bit of breathing room there, and it's going to be interesting to see when these two pit, because Fubbles, you know, he's lurking in the background. He hasn't pitted yet, but he's looking pretty solid for this race so far, Trev.
Fubbles, I like the look of him just doing his R2L2 thing, working those little pad controller things like he does. It would be I reckon it's about time for another French joke for everybody watching at home, and yourself there too, Rob. How do you sink a French battleship? Well, you just put it in water. Oh yes, don't talk about the war. We've been caught out like that before, haven't we? But lap 8 out of 12 now. Fubbles just 11 seconds off the lead. As Stephen McDonald says, Bubbles. Did we call him Bubbles, did he? I think that was Michael Jackson's monkey, but that's another story for another day. We better not go there here tonight. But 4 laps to go into the end of this one. Fubbles just 12 seconds off the lead, Rob. He's doing very nicely here.
Yeah, he's done a good job. He's looking pretty schmick for a podium position here, and Cartoon's actually brought the gap in between he and Formula One Rocks. Within a second now, he's about 5/10 away from Formula One Rocks. So he's actually pulled that gap in between he and Formula One Rocks, which is a good showing. But gee, I wonder how strategy is going to play out here. Cartoon was complaining that last night when he went for a pit stop, that the tyre pressures were a little bit funny. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there if he pits a little bit early to get those tyre pressures up nice and good for the end of the race, or if he doesn't. But it's going to be a bit of a wild ride for him, I think, at the end of this race with that Corvette. You can see how slow he is compared to Formula Rocks through the Ford chicane there, but it's really interesting to see what happens. And our mate Jason Wilkinson, I'm pretty sure, has actually already had a pit stop. He's sitting now at 9 seconds off the lead, but that probably will bring him in within 10 seconds of Fubbles there, if he Fubbles chooses to pit sometime soon. Fubbles actually has pitted, so this is going to be interesting to see what happens where he comes out between he and Jace. Jason is looking pretty good for this race. He felt pretty confident, and I mean, his car setup's looking pretty solid, very stable, looking after those tyres. But going through the field, there's not many battles here. Having a look, probably the closest one is Andy Holden and Mighty Merv. Just about 3 seconds between he and I. It's not he and I, I'm not racing tonight. He and Mighty Merv going through the Indianapolis section there. And you can see those headlights peering out from the distance. That'll be Jason Wilkinson. Not Jason Wilkinson, Andy Holden. Wow, I have had too many beverages tonight there, Trev.
Rob, I tell you what,
my game.
I know you're itching to get out there, but I'm sorry. You signed a contract, and we need you up here. But can't do now, just 5/10. I reckon that's probably the biggest gap, isn't it? I think the biggest I've seen that gap is about 7 or 8 tenths tonight. It's currently sitting at about 5 or 6 tenths of a second. And Connor says, come on, Cart. Steve McDonald says, we shouldn't call it Tasmania. It should be Brody Mania. We've said it a few times. If he can get up here tonight and win and become the champion of Le Mans, who knows? We might have a public holiday in Tasmania. They've had a few bushfires and other natural disasters down there in recent times, so it's the least they could do. Just shut everything down, pay penalty rates, and celebrate the great man. Get him up on a pedestal and put him. Could have a ticket take parade through Hobart. Who knows? But anyway, enough about that. Can't do now. It's down to 0.3 of a second. Thank you, Steve. Brody Day. He wants Broadmania, Brody Day. It's all about Cart Dude. But can he get it done here tonight? We mentioned when the strategy is going to come into play. Speaking of strategy, Jason has moved up ahead of Fubbles as well, who Fubbles, of course, made his pit stop a couple of laps ago. Alex says, let's go, Broadster. Let's go. Ooh, ooh. And Brody, a lot of love for Brody. Jono has got a few fans as well, these two, and having a great old ding-dong battle here, and it absolutely continues. They are in a league of their own, although Jason has quickened up a bit, hasn't he? He's in the 3:56s now down there in P3, although 42 seconds off this lead battle. As well, Cart Dude's through. He's got the job done there. So he is back. I reckon we've had 15 lead changes here tonight. I'm completely making that up, Rob, but it would be something like that. It's been a humdinger of a battle.
Yeah, it's damn lies and slander there, Trev, but Cart Dude's looking pretty good for this upcoming pit stop. I don't know when he's going to do it, but if I was Cart Dude, I might have sat behind Full On Rocks to try and cover him off in the pits. We know that the Ford is probably the quickest during through lap time, but if Brody pitted behind Full On Rocks, I think that might be a really good strategy, because he could sit behind Full On Rocks and pounce when F1 didn't expect it. But Full On Rocks got through in the early part of the Porsche curves there, so Full On Rocks still looking for that overall win really early on, but Cart Dude's probably playing a bit of a game of cat and mouse, same as Full On Rocks. I think they're thinking the same way. I think, look, by the looks of it, oh, Full On Rocks actually tried to dummy Cart Dude into the pit lane. Very interesting there. A little bit of cat and mouse, as I said, through this race. I'm just looking through the list here to see where the closest battle is. And again, the closest battle is between Mighty Murphy and Andy Holden. About 3 seconds between this battle. So it'll be interesting to see if Andy Holden can catch up to the back of Mighty Murphy.
So Andy then, currently in P8. About 4 seconds off Mighty Murphy, and a few seconds ahead of Wimpinator as well. Andy Holden, who showed good pace leading into the round here tonight. Very confusing. Matt212 says, woo, I don't know who to support. And that's a good question. We've got supporters in both camps, it has to be said. Stephen says, what about Dean? What about Dean? It isn't fair. I'm in P5 and I want my share. Can't you see? I want to race, but you just keep giving me penalties on this game. Oh, that's terrible, Steve-O, but we love your comments nonetheless. I don't know what's worse, that or my singing. But HSV, here's your man, Steve-O. Look at this, P5. He's about, well, he's a few seconds. He's about nearly, geez, he's a long way behind Fubbles in P4. And he's a long way ahead of John Doe. Well, not a long way, 7 seconds with 2 or so laps to go. Rob, stranger things have happened in this race here tonight. And getting lots of positive feedback about all aspects of our live stream like we do each and every week. But the singing, just up and about on the singing tonight, Rob, getting a few comments about that as well. And that gap, 1.4 seconds now, has Formula One Rocks made his move. And, well, that's the biggest that gap's been all night. Can Cart Dude get there? 2 laps to go.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what Cart Dude can pull out of his bag of magic tricks. I think he's a little bit too far behind to get the maximum benefit of the slipstream there. But if I was Cart Dude, I'd be thinking about pitting when F1 Rocks pits old mate Jono in the Ford there. We know how good he is. But if Cart Dude could keep himself within touching distance and maybe get himself within that slipstream down the straight there, Mulsanne Straight, I think he'll probably have a very good chance of winning this race. But let's not discount our old mate Jason Wilkinson. Jason Wilkinson loves his airtime there, Trev. And, he's up
yes.
in the third. He's already finished his pit stop, so that's going to put him around about 10 seconds away from the 2 leading cars. And I think a lot of people are going to be a little bit angry tonight because the field is spread out so much that I can't really show too many many battles, and I know a lot of the drivers like Andy Holden and Waffles and Bits, they like a little bit of airtime as well, but unfortunately they're not in too much of a battle here, Trev.
Oh yes, he loves his airtime, and so do the Wilco, the fans of Wilco, our man Jason Wilkinson, Shep, Tay, Simba. Big fan base, this man, and we love him as well. He's sort of, I don't know what you'd call him, Rob. Is he our boss or what? He's sort of like the Bernie Eccleston of SRL for us. He's good enough to send us all sorts of information throughout the course of the week, which makes us sound like we know what we're talking about each and every Thursday night at about 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Still 3 or 4 rounds to go after this one tonight. So don't forget, we've got a few ripping races coming up, rounds 8 to 11 before we finish at Bathurst with the Enduro there on the 7th of February. But enough about that, because we're still here at Le Mans. We're still waiting to see who will be the champion, who will be crowned the champion here tonight of Le Mans. And
Cart Dude goes into the pits.
All Cart Dude into the pits. So Cart Dude's bit the bullet here into the pits. Just a couple of laps to the end of this one now. So Cart Dude, he needs to get in and out very quickly. You mentioned about Jace there too, who will also be hot on the heels of Cart Dude and F1 Rocks if they have any dramas in the pit lane. And boy, gee whiz, I was having a seizure there. I reckon that pit crew was glitching out big time. But here comes Wilco. And he loves his airtime. Like we said, it's written into our contract, Rob. And for everyone out there watching at home, we have to give this man and his sponsors airtime. And he's just our Bernie Eccleston, isn't he? Just give me some airtime, you know. I mean, you know, just get me on the TV. That's a really bad Bernie Eccleston impression there. But here comes Wilco through the last few corners, onto the main straight, then through to complete lap 10. Where's Cart Dude, I hear you ask? He could be just coming out of the pits, but I reckon he's long gone, Rob. And Trev's singing skills are great, but your parenting skills are better. Thank you, Steve. And Connor says, good to finally see someone in the prancing horse.
Yeah, it's good to see somebody in the prancing horse, and I love you, Trev. You're a good mate, but I never do that again with the Bernie Eccleston accent. I feel like I might have gotten stage 3 diabetes. Anybody out there who has diabetes, well, then we can add that to the list. Anybody who has diabetes, we have officially offended you now. But yeah, it's looking really good. But do we think that Jason Wilkinson is our boss? Because I don't think he'd get any live stream time if we weren't here there, Trev.
Well, you imagine, I know you told me not to go with it, but I reckon Jace would be like, damn, Jono, Formula 1 Rocks keeps on winning. It's boring, you know. And Matt loves the Bernie impression. Oh boy, we'll have to keep doing it then. It's definitely locked in. It's a regular event. Anyway, I'm digressing again. I do this each and every week, don't I? But the fans seem to love it. 15 people watching, 75 comments. It's absolutely going off its nannies. Penultimate lap of this race. Formula 1 Rocks. He has not made his pit stop, and look at that gap. Cart Dude on fresh tyres. We're looking at Mighty Murph at the moment, who's just coming up to some traffic, I think, there. He's about 6 or so seconds off John Dog in 6th. Sandwich between John Dog and Andy. P7 for Mighty Murph. Everyone around him's got penalties and other sorts of corner-cutting stuff. But not Mighty Murph. He's looking good there in P7. But, well, we're getting to the end. When will Formula 1 Rocks pit? That is the question. I wonder if our live streaming comments, our viewers are going to tell us, we're wondering ourselves, when is he going to pit, Rob? What's going on? Is he going to do a Michael Schumacher at the British Grand Prix a few years ago and pit on the last lap? Controversy.
I mean, you say a few years ago, but that was about 14 years ago, Trev, so maybe you're showing your age there a little bit, but maybe. I don't know, but he will get disqualified if he does something like that. It's within our contractual rules to say that Formula Rocks will be disqualified if he doesn't pit, but we know what Formula Rocks is like. But actually, looking at the timings, there's about a 28-second pit stop. Cart Dude is within 27.84 seconds. Within Formula Rocks. So at the moment, it looks like if Formula 1 Rocks pits at the moment, Cart Dude might actually inherit the lead here. So that's very interesting to have a look at. And unfortunately, the Project Cars timings is a little bit up to duff. So I might be making up a little bit. Might be not. You'll never know on the live stream. Only Trevor and I will ever know what's happening here. But yeah, it's this is probably the battle we're looking forward to the most. looking forward to the most because everybody else is pretty spread out during the through the field here, Trevor. Oh, Formula One Rocks actually pits.
Here he comes. We had a few questions on the comments in the live stream saying the finish line is right at the start of the straight, so could he leave it to the last minute? But he's in the pits now. We said a little bit earlier in this live stream tonight, 28 or so seconds there or thereabouts is lost in the pit lane, and Cart Dude was setting some very, very good lap times. I guess you could call it a giant undercut that could work, I reckon, but it's getting awfully, awfully close. Cart Dude, he's coming now around the final couple of corners, around the forward chicanes, onto the main straight. Formula One Rocks is coming out. Cart Dude onto the main straight. Who is going to have the lead of this race? I reckon it's going to be Cart Dude. Stay tuned. Do not go anywhere for this final enthralling lap. 13 kilometres. And there's still nothing between them, and Cart Dude takes the lead.
Cart Dude Nation, get it in the chat. Hashtag Cart Dude Nation. He's done it. He's done the undercut, which probably looked like the better strategy. I was saying pit behind Formula One Rocks, but if Cart Dude could keep it all nice and clean throughout this lap, he's got the race win.
6 race wins for Formula One Rocks, just the one for Cart Dude this season. There's been nothing between them throughout the 12 laps of this race. And as we count down to find out who will be the champion of Le Mans here tonight, just 13 or so kilometres separates these two. One of these two from victory here tonight. And what an incredible battle. It's what this championship's been about tonight. Cart Dude, hashtag Cart Dude Nation. There could be a bloody public holiday in Tasmania if he can get up here tonight. Perfect timing with his pit stop, perfect strategy. And he's halfway around this circuit for the
final. Wide.
He's gone wide.
Chicane.
Oh, and there's contact. This is amazing. Nothing between them. I'm going to say it again, side by side, the drag race is on, no slipstream here as we come around the final lap of this race. Cart Dude just with his nose in front, but Formula One Rocks is not going to let him have it. He's going to keep him honest all the way to the end of this race. I don't care about what other battles are happening further down the field. Jono is where it's at. I tell you what, he's taken the lead now. Look at this incredible stuff. Oh my goodness, this is why you tune in each and every Thursday night, Rob. I've missed this, but we're back again this year.
Yeah, we're back again this year, and also let's not forget the Cart Dude has done a pit stop a couple of laps before F1 Rocks here, so Cart Dude's tyres are actually up to pressure, so Formula Rocks might be having a bit of a ding-dong battle with Cart Dude, and Cart Dude's looking for it. He's touched him into the back of off the corner off Mulsanne Straight. Cart Dude has actually gone past Formula Rocks side by side going up into towards Indianapolis. This is absolute pandemonium, Trev. Pandemonium, and we can see that Formula Rocks has the outside line there. Cart Dude has the inside line there. Side by side, they are touching. This is absolute wild racing, Trev.
I've got no fingernails left, and either does anyone watching this at home, heading towards Indianapolis and breaking down. Cart Dude has the inside line, but Formula One Rocks, neither driver giving an inch here tonight. This is absolutely unbelievable, and there's contact.
Wow, that's interesting to see what happens. Cart Dude covered the line. Formula One Rocks was going for the corner. Looks like a little bit of a racing incident. It's a little bit too hard to call at the moment. We'll get the steward's opinion a little bit later on in this race, but that could actually have an impact on tonight's results. So we might have to announce the results of this race next stream. But yeah, Formula One Rocks get into the back of a Cart Dude there. Cart Dude covering off the line. Formula One Rocks lunging for the corner. So we'll have to wait for the steward's opinion, but that's a little bit dicey there. But Formula One Rocks in the front at the moment. He's got a 3/10 gap between him. Oh, Cart Dude's got an outside. Cart Dude's to the wall. Formula Rocks has lost his way. Cart Dude and Formula Rocks are having argy-bargy. Formula Rocks has gone into the into the wall there. Trying to pick what's wearing. This is really bad for the live stream. Cart Dude gives him the place back, but my God.
Oh no! It was all going so well, and now they're both off each other's Christmas card list through the final couple of corners, but I reckon this one's going to be decided in the steward's room. And don't forget about Jason Wilkinson, who's only 5 seconds off the lead And Cart Dude, well, I reckon he's already going off in the chat apparently. Jason's not too worried. I've lost my voice. He picks up a podium. Fubbles takes P4 here tonight. And, well, what controversy, what drama to finish this race. But I reckon Formula One Rocks takes the victory, but we'll wait and see what the end result of that is. Ahead of Cart Dude in P2. P2, I've lost my voice, pardon me. But P2 for Cart Dude. And Jason in P3. Fubbles in P4. What a race, Rob.
What a race, and actually here's something we haven't thought about. Jason could be gifted a win here. We know he's actually the official race steward, so maybe he'll gift himself the win here with the argy-bargy between Formula One Rocks and Cart Dude. And as I said, this could be decided in the steward's room. And as Trevor's having a coughing attack in the background there, that's all right. We've got Mighty Murph coming up to the start-finish line with John Dog just a second behind. John Dog couldn't get it over and done with, but Mighty Murph comes home for 6th, and John Dog for 7th. That's pretty good points there. And Andy Holden is in a little bit of battle here with Waffles here. They're really good friends. Waffles looking for a bit of a points-paying position here. He picked up the win at Spa, but I don't think Waffles has it here. So the 8th position goes to Andy Holden. Waffles rounds out in the top 9, and Wimpinator all by his lonesome. The Ferrari looking a little bit worse for wear there, Trev, but he's going to pick up P10 here, Trev.
Well, I'm back, so apologies about the just clearing the throat there and the vocal cords. I tell you what, I said I nearly lost my voice, but I reckon Cart Dude might be a little bit worse off than what I am. But yeah, apologies for the coughing fit, but we're back as Wimpinator crosses the line with just the front of his car moving more than me after a few pre-dinner drinks on a Friday night. But V8 man, where's he been? Haven't called his name too much tonight. P11 for him as he comes across the line, pretty much on his own. A few seconds between him and the man in P12, Womp, of course, who we saw get into all sorts of trouble. And he comes across the line to the finish of this race. But what controversy in the week we celebrated Michael Schumacher's 50th birthday. We've seen very much a Schumacher Hill sort of incident, haven't we, here tonight? But there are the final results on your screen. But we might have to put a little bit of an asterisk next to that one. We don't know what's going to come out of the wash-up after this race. And that incident on the final lap, the comments are going mad. Jason says, P3, yes, we can fight. We can fight. This is a win for us. But, well, it's a win for Formula One Rocks, that's for sure. Wait and see what happens with that. Cart Dude in P2, Jason Wilkinson in P3 for Team Victoria Better. Fubbles in P4, a little bit disappointing for him. He was hoping for a podium, and so it was his brother Stephen as well. HSV, good performance from him in P5. Mighty Murph in P6. HSV and Mighty Murph, 5th and 6th. Can't separate those two. And John Dog in P7. Waffles in P8. Andy, we saw him come across the line in P9 along with Wimpinator in P10. V8 man, disappointing for him, missing out on the points tonight. Wump in P12. Mickey, not so fine, you blow my mind in 13th. Smokey in 14th, retired here tonight, along with Nemo and Truss also retiring. What a race! But officially, Formula One Rocks are the champion of Le Mans here tonight. And boy, you mentioned it, Rob. Get ready for a battle in the interview, the post-race press conference. As you know, anyone new to the SRL live stream, great to have your company with us here tonight. Welcome to you. We get all three of the winning drivers, the top three drivers, I should say, into the interview room. And boy, we're going to see some spicy action tonight if we get these two in the same party chat, Rob.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit of Jerry Springer happening here at the moment, Trev. And I think I'll let you ask the questions tonight. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy this one.
Well, you just grabbed the popcorn there, Rob. He's just given it to me. But well, they're all joining the party now. But well, I don't think we've got Formula One Rocks in the party just yet, or do we have Jono? I know we've got Cart Dude. Yep, we've got Jono. Well, Jono, tell us about that race, mate. You couldn't split yours between, you couldn't put anything between yours for the whole race, 12 or so laps, battling for the lead, mate. Like I said, nothing between yours. But talk us through your race.
Yeah, mate, very intense race. Good fun. That Corvette's really fast on the straight, so I had to just try and put him under pressure, see what happens, and yeah.
Now the live comments absolutely going, the live stream comments going bananas, going off their, you know what's at the moment, Jono. Will you be taking a flight down to Tasmania? Will you be taking the red eye down there to have a chat with Cart Dude in person, or is everything okay between you two guys?
Mate, don't have to do that. All good.
All right, you heard it here first. Go for it, Rob.
What happened here? Because I want some Jerry Springer action. I want a little bit of fighting. So, from your point of view, Formula Rocks, what happened into the last part of Indianapolis and the last part of the Porsche Curves? What's your point and perspective on that?
It's hard to say. Heated moment stuff. Watch the replay and have a look.
Tires were worn as.
Oh, Jono,
I don't.
give us bloody something.
Hey,
Yeah, we
I'm
need some
trying to do
Jerry
the Bernie
Springer
here. I'm trying to
action
put a lid on
here.
it, boys. I don't know what happened, but let's just...
We need
Fast
the
right
views.
hander.
Jerry Springer brings back bloody views, alright?
Fast right hander, side by side.
Maybe,
and then the left hander, then the next right hander. I had to go, you know. I've been held up the whole race, so I had to have a fucking dive, you know. So
And-
I went for it, and he blocked under brakes as far as I can remember. That's what happened. And then, as far as I was concerned, it was on. Going into the last bit, I don't give a fuck.
Just, well, let me get
There's
my...
your Jerry moment there, you.
We're not on the
Told you.
7-second delay here, Jono. I don't think we've got a beeping machine. Geez, there must be something in the air tonight, Rob. You've been up and about as well
I'm
with
drunk.
the.
I have an excuse.
You've been on the juice, on the sauce for a long while. But we might thank you, Jono. Another good result tonight, mate. The wins keep racking up though for you. So you're still leading the championship by plenty, mate. So fantastic result tonight, and we'll catch you next week.
Cheers, boys. Have a good one.
And moving across to Cart Dude, well, Jerry Springer. He hasn't been doing too much, has he? He hasn't been too popular for everybody here tonight. So maybe Dr. Phil. So Brody, tell us, when did the relationship between you and Jono break down? Tell us what happened.
Do we want me to answer? Because I can answer this one.
All right, yep. Somebody give us something. We don't like dead air here.
Yeah, no, mate. I blocked into the last corner of Indianapolis, and F1 Rocks went to the side of me, and I'm absolutely pissed off. I can't believe he did that. I just sent it down the inside at the last part of the Porsche Curves, and I was a good enough bloke to give that position back. But I don't know. I want to swear at this point, but I'm too busy laughing about that Jerry Springer moment, Trev.
It was actually Dr. Phil, but very similar sort of stuff. Cart Dude, in all seriousness, mate, you nearly picked up your second win of the season, along with 3 second places and a third as well, mate. That gap in the championship now, it's out to 40-something points, 45 points, I think, or 46 points, mate. You've still got a few rounds to go, 4 rounds after this one, so can you get that gap back? It only takes one disconnection, mate. You're still in with a chance.
I'm going on a holiday, so... so probably
He's
not.
actually serious. So, like,
No,
he's
I'm
not
actually
racing next
serious,
week.
No, not next week, probably the week after, but probably, no, it's all good fun. It's just a game after all, Trevor, and I'm not gonna sleep over anything, so.
Oh, we don't want that. That doesn't get the views
We're all good
here.
mates.
Oh, it
That doesn't get the views here, Cart Dude.
doesn't
What do
get
you
the
think
views.
about that dive down the inside of Indianapolis? What do you think about your dive in the Porsche Curves there, mate? They were two really dodgy decisions. And does Jason Wilkinson deserve the win?
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I'll let Jason handle that. My anger definitely got the better of me, didn't it? And I just lost my cool, which isn't okay, but I'm sure it looked good in the stream though, and that's the thing that matters, right? So I don't. No, I'm not too bothered by it. But yeah, Jason is got to have a long night looking at it. That's for sure.
Well, apparently. I've got work tomorrow. First day back on a Friday.
Mate, you can quit. Mate, have a day off.
All right, well, Cart Dude, big thank you to you. You've had a chat with
No
Jerry.
worries, buddy.
Dr. Phil, and enjoy that holiday, mate. You didn't get the public holiday down there that we were talking about in Tassie, but big farewell to you, mate, and we'll catch you next week, maybe not the week after, but all the best, mate, for next week.
Cheers, mate.
And our man who's just we've still got Dr. Phil on the line, but Jason Wilkinson, another podium for Team Victoria. Bitter. I know that's what you wanted. But no, another podium, mate, for you. You've got to be happy with that. You just keep sneaking those podiums in, don't you? It's your 4th podium. You finished 2nd in Monaco. Another couple of 3rd places to go with that. And, mate, you're 3rd in the championship after this result tonight. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, it started, well, it's up 5th, I think, 5th or 6th, and going into off the Mulsanne Straight, and Mighty Murph, my good mates, have a big dive on me, and I had to cut the chicane, and then that let Smokey catch up to me, slipstream past, and then sort of cheekily cut me off and gave me a little bit of a rub, but then I sort of got stuck behind, so I pitted lap 1, and I knew if I kept it clean, I'd be able to jump Fubbles, which is what I did, and yeah. Nearly got the win in the end, by the looks of it.
Well, you weren't far off. He wasn't far off, was he, Rob? I think, as you can see, there's 6.4 seconds, but that gap, clever strategy by you, and you just minded your own business and kept at it. And, you collected that podium again tonight. 4 more rounds, mate. You never know. Stranger things have happened. And I know Big Trust, Tay, Simba, they're all behind you. We're behind you. You do pay our salaries here on the SRL Championship. And so we've got to be nice. You are the Bernie Wilkinson of this crew.
My Tats Lotto, I could be really sponsoring.
Oh, that's great. Jason Wilkinson could be paying for holidays to Melbourne. I mean, my holiday to Melbourne. Maybe gift me a couple of car parts for my Ford Fairmont. And that'd be great. Jason Wilkinson has actually ditched the boys. He's not won anything. What a dog.
Rob, all right, we might have to leave it there. But Dr. Phil, I mean, if he does win Tats Lotto, as we see in Texas, we might be able to hit Crown Casino, get some hookers and cocaine. You get $1,000. You got to rise above those around you. All right, enough about that, Dr. Phil. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jason. We are off. Where are we off to next week for the next round of this championship? Round number 8. 21 laps around the beautiful Algarve circuit. I've butchered that one. Apologies for everyone who... Algarve, there we go. And that is on Thursday, January 17th. Once again, live and exclusive on the Kid Buyers channel from 8 p.m. We try and do 8 p.m. Sometimes we don't always make it, but 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. We ticked over to 800 subscribers. Don't forget to subscribe and do all that stuff as well. And that's news to you, Jace, but fantastic stuff. We started with 63 back in February last year. We're down to 800 now, up to 800, I should say, and fast approaching 1,000. It's been great to have your company.
1,000 by the end of the season. That's the thing.
You know it, brother. And then the watch time as well, and then we'll be rolling in the dosh. A bit like Dr. Phil. That's all we've got time for here, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a pleasure to have your company back again this year. Don't forget next week, next Thursday, 21 laps, Algarve. But it's bye for now. Be kind to one another.